I'm on the opposite side of that spectrum where I work with the guys who are already crushing it in life and business and need that next level up where they don't know how to get on the billboards and those kind of things. That's where paid media really takes you to that next level. But so, for example, if we were, do you mind if I give a tip, kind of a coaching thing on a podcast on how you can monetize if you're hosting a podcast right now and you've been doing it for 6 months? Okay. So let's say you've been hosting a podcast. I get this all the time as I'm a guest on other shows. And before or after the show, the guy starts talking to me going, yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking about turning in the hat. I've done 90 episodes and I've made nothing off of it. And they're trying to figure out how to get, how do you get the sponsorship? How do you start getting money from it? One of the easiest things that I see a lot of podcasters miss is having a dedicated landing page for search engine optimization. So where, for example, and I think you're already doing this, but say you've got, say the TJ Walker Show, you got tjwalkershow.com/guest name. So on us, quick thing, I know you do a lot with AI. One of the things that I've told people is a pretty easy way to get started is if you did this interview, you load the thing up to YouTube. So you just do a nice video interview, cut out the filler words, whatever junk that you want in there, upload that to YouTube, then take that, go down to the bottom left, click the transcribe button, use transcription button, copy that into ChatGPT or whatever AI service you're using. Tell it to remove the, format it properly as far as punctuation, single space after the period, proper capitalization. Tell it the guest's name and the host's name because it'll often mess those up. Kind of weird spelling. Then tell it to write you an article outline for a 2,000 word SEO friendly article about that guest. So now ChatGPT has written you this article outline. Now you say from that article outline, write, maybe tune that up a little bit, paste it back in there. So to write you a 2,000 word search engine optimized article about that guest name and what they talked on your show. So now it writes out this good article. I mean, you can almost always tell when it's written by AI. You could again say that now. Tell it remove filler words and phrases, remove pretext and context, make this sound more human. It'll rewrite the article again, sounding more human. So now you take that, copy the YouTube URL to the top of that web page, to that guest web page. So now your YouTube video shows up. Then copy and paste that ChatGPT article in there. And there's a misconception about Google banning pages or not liking AI. Google is here to provide search engines are here to provide the best possible result to the client. So they don't care if you wrote it with AI or if an alien wrote it for you, as long as it's the best result and it doesn't have a bunch of weird junk in it.
If it's interesting and people stay on it and watch it or read it, they're going to think, okay, this is something real. If everyone leaves after 1.2 seconds, it doesn't matter if it's AI or not, they're going to figure this doesn't deserve our spotlight. Isn't that generally the way?
Yep. But so on that, now you've got your video at the top, you've got a couple thousand word search engine optimized article. Now, when people are searching for my name or whoever your guest name is, or the topic that you're talking about, they find your webpage. At the bottom of that, you could have a call to action. You could have the book that you're selling, your coaching course, whatever it is that you're offering. Now, you're not monetizing from the actual podcast. You're monetizing from thousands of people seeing those different articles you're posting, and you're providing the best information on that guest that the person was searching for. Now, your call to action will sell when you've got that at the bottom or on the side or however you set that up.
Great tips. I got to do that myself. We're speaking with M. Curtis McCoy. He is the owner of Newswire magazine, and he's an expert on personal branding and marketing. Here's the big question I have, which is, when is the perfect time for someone to use services like you? Because I encounter as I'm sure you do, someone has written their first book. They're all excited about some new project, and they think, wow, I've heard if I just spend $5 a day on Google ads or something, I can be really famous and it's really easy. And many people advertise too soon. I think you and I probably are in agreement there. Many people advertise the wrong way on wrong stuff. Many people advertise before they really have a product that anyone would want. So what kind of a checklist do you have? I mean, I had a guest on, one of my students just last week. I felt sorry for her. She's like, yeah, I saved up I took all my money out of savings and I went to, she didn't call it a vanity publisher, but it clearly was. And I gave them $5,000 and now they're going to mail me 800 books. And I thought, oh my God, it's just
that book is $2.60, $2.80 for the copy, depending on the number of pages.
I mean, there's so many ways to get scammed and waste money on marketing anything. And I'm sure you've seen people who say, come to our seminar this weekend for $10,000 and you'll be interviewed and you'll be seen on ABC and Fox and NBC on 50 markets across the country. Well, yeah, you will be, but it's at 3 a.m. in the morning for an infomercial squeezed in with other people where the audience
Forbes,
could literally
India.
be zero.
Yep.
Yeah, you can say on your website, as seen on NBC in Orlando and Chicago. Does that build a brand? A lot of people think it does. So first big question.
It's good for building your ego.
Yeah. What's the checklist you have for A, when someone is a legitimate client prospect for you, B, when they should be even thinking about spending money on advertising?
So the first one, if somebody reaches out to you, for example, if you're on social media, you probably all remember on Instagram how you'd get messages every single week from somebody that was selling a verification, selling the check mark. This is back when it was 15, 20 grand. You could actually pay a white label hacker to go in, and then not really white label, but a white hat hacker, they call them, to go in and give you that blue check mark. It was 15, 20 grand you could pay to get it done. But now you look at the person reaching out, guaranteeing that they could get you verified if you just send them $500 via Venmo. And you look at their profile, and they're following 130 people. They got 2 followers. They don't have the check mark themselves. Mm-hmm. The person is either lying to you or they don't believe in the service that they're selling enough to use it themselves. Mm-hmm. So for example, if you're talking to me trying to figure out personal branding, if you Google M. Curtis McCoy and I don't show up, I am an absolute con artist. You don't want to do a business with the guy that's not using the service that he says he's doing. Mm-hmm. So check him out. The other thing, you can go to, pull up their website, copy the URL, go to there's whois.com. There's quite a few different domains, but you can look and see when the domain was actually registered, how long it's been around. If this is a successful business, you'll see a lot of times they'll use a reputable magazine's name and then add something else to it in the URL. They're saying, okay, we're on Forbes Spotlight.
By the way, I listened to you and I just did what you said. I Googled you, 3 million websites come up, but we do in fact see yours. We see nice looking images. We see your business account. We see your Instagram account. We see your Facebook account. We see your Amazon. We see your YouTube. We see your LinkedIn. So everything is showing up. I did not see a link where the headline was, "Oh my God, Curtis McCoy rips me off. Run for your life. He's a scam artist." And it is amazing to me how many people never bother to look at someone's name before doing business with them. So thank you for mentioning that, and you passed the test.
Man, when I gave that advice there, I did not think you were going to use it right away. That would have been absolutely a train wreck for me if you showed up and my name didn't even show up. Yeah. Glad you pulled that up. But you can also reach out to a friend or somebody who is trusted, who's not in the same niche. You'll have a lot of times somebody will reach out to a web designer friend asking about a web design deal that they got, and it may be a great deal, but the friend is also trying to sell you their service. So make sure that you're reaching out to somebody who knows about the industry, or get on, do some research yourself. Go to the Whois database, whois.com, or the ICANN.org, and check the URL. See if that's actually, so for example, if you want to do this, go to, So